Today we will be discussing how to balance chemical equations. In general, you need to be aware of the symbols of each element on the periodic table. But for this exercise and for this video, you need to at least be aware of the following elements. Xe is xenon, F fluorine, Ag silver, H hydrogen, S sulfur, K potassium, O oxygen, C carbon, Na sodium, Cl chlorine, Si silicon. So let's have a look at the following equations. The ones that I will be giving you will not be balanced equations. We need to go and balance them ourselves. So the first one is Xe plus F2 gives me XeF6. So let's have a look at the elements on either side. On the left side, we have xenon and fluorine. On the right side, we have xenon and fluorine as well. How many xenons and how many fluorines? Let's go have a look. On the left side, we have 1 xenon and 2 fluorines. On the right side, we have 1 xenon and 6 fluorines. So this means that this equation is not balanced. We need to go balance them. Let's have a look at the fluorine. There's 2 fluorines. How can I make them more? I need to get them up to 6 fluorines. Remember, I cannot change the subscript. I cannot change the 2 to a 6. I need to add a coefficient to multiply the subscript with. That will give me 6. All I need to do is to figure out what can I multiply 2 with to get 6. Okay, so that's a very easy question. It's 3. So I put my 3 in front of the F2. Okay, so this means I can multiply the 3 and the little 2. It's like maths. If I put a 3 in front of the x, it means I'm multiplying the x and the 3. The same here. If I put the 3 in front of the F2, I'm going to multiply that 3 with the 2. That gives me 6 in total. And now I can see that it is balanced. The next equation I will be giving you is Ag plus H2S gives me Ag2S plus H2. On either side, I have the elements silver, hydrogen, and sulfur. And on the left side, I have 1 silver, 2 hydrogen, and 1 sulfur. On the right side, I have 2 silvers, 1 sulfur, and 2 hydrogens. The elements that I need to balance is the silver. What do I need to make the silver 2? I need to multiply it by 2. So I'm going to put the 2 in front of the silver, the Ag, and that's going to give me 2 silvers. And now we have a balanced equation. We have 2 silvers, 2 hydrogens, and 1 sulfur. Okay, the next equation is KOH plus CO2 gives me KCO3 plus H2O. Okay, so on both sides we have potassium, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. On the left side, it's tricky to see how we get 3 oxygens, okay? All you need to do is add. The first part has 1 oxygen plus 2 oxygens. So in total, that gives me 3 oxygens. On the right side, there again, I see 2 oxygens. The first one has 3 oxygens plus 1 oxygen. If there's nothing after the oxygen, you know it's 1. There's 1 oxygen there. So that gives me 4 oxygens in total. Okay. On the left side, I have 1 potassium, 3 oxygens, 1 hydrogen, and 1 carbon. On the right side, I have 2 potassiums, 4 oxygen, 2 hydrogen, and 1 carbon. Which of these elements are not balanced? Okay, first thing, I need to go have a look at the oxygens. On the left side, there's only 3. On the right side, there's 4. The potassium's also not balanced, and so is the hydrogen. The easiest thing for me to do is to try and balance the potassium. The oxygen's a little bit harder because there's 2 on both sides. So how do I get 1 potassium to 2 potassiums? All I need to do is go put a 2 in front of the KOH, the very first part of that. And then when I multiply that in, I'm going to first multiply it with the hydrogen, that gives me 2 hydrogens now. And now in that equation, that gives me 2 potassiums as well, because 2 times 1 is 2. And now have a look, think very carefully here. If I multiply the 2 with the oxygen, that gives me 2 oxygens. But don't forget about the other 2 oxygens that I need to add. The 2 oxygens here plus the other 2 gives me 4 in total on the left. So there's 2 O's on the left side. Okay, so have a look now. Now my potassium, oxygen and hydrogen will balance on both sides. Let's have a look at the next equation. I give you Na plus Cl2 gives me NaCl. Now we have the elements that combined gives us table salt, sodium and chlorine. On both sides I have sodium and chlorine. On the left I have 1 sodium, 2 chlorines. On the right I have 1 sodium, 1 chlorines. Okay, easiest for me is to see if I can get the chlorine on the right up to 2. All I have to do there is to put a 2 in front of the NaCl. But remember that I need to multiply the 2 with the Na and the Cl. So that gives me 2 sodiums and 2 chlorines on the right side. But now on the left side I have an imbalance. My sodium is not the same as on the right side. So all I have to do is to go put a 2 in front of the Na on the left side. And that gives me 2 sodiums on the left side. And now as you can see, 2 sodiums, 2 chlorines on both sides. And now my equation is balanced. The last equation I'm going to give you is one you had in your study guide. It's in exercise 3. It was the very last question of exercise 3. It is SiO2 plus C gives me SiC plus CO. So on both sides my elements are silicon, oxygen and carbon. On the left side I have 1 silicon, 2 oxygen and 1 carbon. On the right side I have 1 silicon, 1 oxygen and 2 carbon. Therefore I have an imbalance here. The easiest thing for me to do is to try and increase my oxygen on the right side. So on the left side I have 2 oxygens, on the right side I have 1. For me to make the oxygen on the right side a 2, I need to multiply that oxygen with 2. I need to put the 2 in front of the CO. So I'm going to multiply my oxygen and my carbon with 2. So that leaves me with 2 oxygens. And think very carefully now, 2 carbons. But don't forget about the other carbon I need to add. So it's going to be 2 plus the other carbon. That gives me 3 in total on the right side. So 3 carbons on the right side in total. Now I realize that my carbon on the left side is not balanced. So how do I make my carbon on the left side a 3? I need to multiply my carbon with 3. So I'm going to put a 3 in front of the carbon. And that gives me 3 carbons on the left side. So is my equation balanced? Yes. 1 silicon, 2 oxygens, 3 carbons. And that's it. You can go back, try and do these equations on your own without looking at the answer, and go back to the video after you've done it to check if your answer is correct. It's always good to practice